A warm welcome to episode 10 of Lost for Words, a podcast exploring the opinions, glories and the most interesting stories of guests. I am your host Jason, and for this week's episode I am joined by Ross McNamee. Ross's story is one of heartbreak and true grit in equal measure. When he was 13 years old, his beloved mum Angie was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease when she herself was only in her late 40s. Ross speaks to me about the onset of Angie's Alzheimer's, but more importantly of who she was prior to her diagnosis and how she has shaped the person he is today. In recent years, Ross has become an avid fundraiser for Alzheimer's Scotland, and he speaks to me about his efforts last year, climbing Ben Nevis, and how he's taken it a step further by adding in the West Highland Way for this year. Ross goes deep into the effects of Alzheimer's for his mum and his family, speaking openly and honestly, often with a bit of humour thrown in as well, but never forgetting the woman who is at the centre of his life and who he does all the amazing things he does for. This is an outstanding listen, and I will speak to you at the other side. A quick housekeeping note before we get started. Please leave a rating or a review wherever you get your podcasts, whether that be Apple, Google, Spotify, Podbean or any other platform. It's the best way the podcast can grow and better content can be produced for you, the listener. It's your listening experience that matters the most. But enough from me, now on to today's episode of Lost for Words. Right, that's us. How's it going?
No bad, man. How are you?
I'm not bad, not too bad. Were you working today?
Aye, mate. I finished. No, I'm gonna.
Good. So, Ross, I like to start these things by going way back to the beginning. Tell me a bit about where you grew up, and I know we're here to talk about your mum, but who else lived in your house? Who else is in your family?
I grew up in Steps. It's just been me, my mammy, and my dad. But my big brother stayed with us for a wee while with my childhood. But we've got different dads, so he ended up moving down with his dad when I was kind of young. So most of my life it's just been me, mama, and dad.
Apologies if it seems a really obvious question, Ross, but the beauty in these things is it gets you to speak about it in your own words. How would you surmise the effect your mum had on your upbringing?
Massive, mate. She was my best pal in the world. Just we were so close. She was the one I was scared of. I mean, her and my dad. I've been gave us a few doings in my time and all, but like she was just brilliant, mate. She was my best pal.
Do you have a favourite memory, or is it a case of you look back and just think of yourself to be so lucky as just to have the time in general with her?
Don't even know, mate. It's just everything. Just getting to spend time with her was just brilliant. Just speaking to her. No, there isn't really one that sticks out, to be fair, mate. Just everything.
One of the main things I wanted to get a sense of, and for listeners to know about your mum, is a bit about who she was before the diagnosis, Ross. So talk to me about Angie. What did Angie do prior to her diagnosis?
She was a hairdresser, mate. She had her own shop over in Rutherglen.
If she was a hairdresser, was she really chatty and bubbly?
Aye, she was honestly, mate, best ever. She just made everybody laugh and smile wherever she went. She was just, people would just come into her shop, not just for a laugh and stuff like that. She was just brilliant.
Amazing. So we've spoken a bit about what your sort of memories of Angie were from that time. What made Angie happy?
Just family time and that, mate. Just we've got a caravan down in Campbelltown. It's 4 hours away or something, 3 hours away, and that's where my mum and my dad would go all the time. She just loved it down there. She just loved spending time with us and our friends.
That was one of my questions. Where did she like to take you on holiday? So was that Campbelltown, the caravan, one of the favourites?
We didn't really go abroad that much because we had that. It's just where my dad has went since he was a kid. So we just kind of always went down there. And I loved it as well, to be fair. I wouldn't really change anything.
So a bit of a funny one. So when you were growing up, what do you remember as the biggest row she gave you into?
Oh, yeah. There's been a few. She would she would give me into trouble more than my dad. To be fair, but I was more scared of her than I was my dad. She'd give me a few fucking. Oh, sorry, I'm not swearing.
No, you can swear. No, we're all adults.
Oh, sorry. She gave me a few slaps and all growing up, but she was scary when she wanted to be.
So what effect do you think she had on your dad?
Definitely, she wore the trousers.
Like, what about you was she most proud of, do you think?
Just kind of growing up the way I have been. I'd love to be, like, if she could see what I was doing now for her. I think she would be really proud of that.
Geez, you saying she'd be proud of you is underselling it, Ross. She'd be so far beyond proud. I don't think you even need to question that. But moving on to a bit about the Alzheimer's, when did you and your family begin to realise something was potentially wrong with Angie?
It was just kind of wee daft things, mate, like misplacing stuff. Like we would find random stuff, random places, and I think the kind of, for what I can remember, the kind of first time she really got worried about her memory was she kind of forgot how to get home for her work or something. I'm pretty sure that's what it was, and then we went for checks and stuff. But it took a wee while for her to get the actual diagnosis. There was a lot of
back and forth.
Kind of back and forth before we got to the bottom of it.
So in terms of that, then, do you think you were old enough at that time to fully understand what was going on?
No, mate, I genuinely never had a clue at the time. I couldn't even have told you what. I kind of knew what Alzheimer's was, but not to the extent. So I did have to kind of teach myself a lot about it to understand more.
So just for clarity for anybody listening, how old were you and how old was your mum at this time?
I was 13 when she got diagnosed. I don't even know what age she would have been. Late 40s maybe. I think it was late 40s, kind of mid 40s, late 40s she would.
Do you remember when you found out about the diagnosis, like the end point when it actually became confirmed?
I can't, mate, to be honest with you. It was because I didn't really understand it as much. I don't think I took on board what was actually happening for a while until I started like kind of noticing differences in her before it actually hit home.
Was it frightening for you that she noticed differences in herself rather than the word Alzheimer's itself? It was more you just knowing that your mum was knowing things were going wrong?
Like she used to kind of beat herself up about it when she was like forgetting stuff and that that kind of sucked to see. Because it obviously it's not her fault, but it's obviously really frustrating for her as well.
That's heartbreaking, because that's late 40s is no age at all. But moving on from there, did the diagnosis place any strain on the rest of your family? So say you, your dad and your brother?
I'm not really too sure. It was kind of when it first happened, when she was kind of repeating herself and that, like, and you weren't used to it. You were getting kind of, you got annoyed about it. Like you were kind of snapping back, saying, "Oh, you've already told me this" and stuff like that before. Then you start kind of realising that it wasn't until a couple of years into it I kind of took a step back and realised it's not her fault. It's she meaning to do this. Like it's harder for her than it is for us. So I just learned how to be more patient with it and deal with it a lot better. And I think that's the same with like my dad and my big brother as well.
So if you were 13 at the time, how old would you say you were when you were comfortable at knowing what to do and not snapping back?
It wasn't the first kind of year and a half, you didn't really notice huge differences. It was kind of when I was like turning like 15, as far as I can remember anyway, that you started noticing the differences. So I'd say probably about 15, 16 before I kind of took head a wee bit and started kind of thinking more before I like snap back or whatever. I just wanted to kind of make it as easy, but started realising I need to make it easier for her.
As you've gotten better, so has your sort of improvement in being able to deal with your mum and knowing what to do, Has that been more quick or less quick than her condition changing, if that makes sense? So have you had to adapt quicker than her memory's deteriorated?
It's I didn't really understand anything about it, but I used to be a mechanic and then I lost my job. So I was spending a lot more time with her when she was going through kind of starting to get a wee bit worse and worse. And I thought I wanted to learn a lot more about it. So I got into home care side of work for my next job. I wanted to learn a lot about it. So I got into home care, and I was working with people with dementia every day and going on courses like carers and that, going just to try
immerse yourself in it as much as possible.
I make me better so I can be there for as much as I can. I was making, I think, £100 a week at the time, which is nothing. But I was doing it just to kind of be there for my mammy as much as I could be.
How did the rest of the family rally around each other? So had it brought you, your brother, and your dad closer together?
We've always been a close family, to be fair, but I do feel as if it has a bit, because we do really need to help each other out and be there for my mammy as much as we possibly can.
What have you had to change in a good way to make yourself be there for your mum?
I don't know, you just need to be stronger, don't you, really? I don't know, I don't even know how to explain it. It's no, just need to be stronger and be there for as much as you can and kind of grow up a bit.
So with your mum just now, do you all take care of her together?
She's at home with us. We get carers in during the day to give my dad a wee bit of hand while I'm at work.
Mm-hmm.
They come in the mornings and leave about lunchtime just to give my dad a wee bit of respite as such.
And do you all get on with the carers? Is it just a nice wee environment?
They're brilliant. They're brilliant with my mammy.
See, I don't like making things like spinning it round about me, but I remember with my gran, and it was the carers with the Alzheimer's thing as well. The carers are some of the best people that you meet, and it's sometimes they come in.
Definitely, mate.
They come in and you think, geez, you're here to see, you're not here for me, but they uplift your mood as well.
Definitely, but my ma's at a stage now that she can't do anything. She can't walk, talk, do anything for herself. So it's a kind of, while I'm at work, it's a kind of lonely day for my dad. So even just having somebody there for a
cup of tea or something,
for a bladder, definitely, it's really good for my dad as well. Know what I mean?
When you think about yourself as a man today, so the person you are now, how old are you now? 24, 25?
24, mate.
24. So you're 24 years old. What aspect of your personality do you think you get the most from your mum?
Just my full personality, mate. Like my sense of humour and that. I just get it for her. That that's all I can remember. Just laughing at her constantly.
About the lockdowns as well, I wanted to ask this. So obviously the pandemic's been terrible, but did you get to spend any more time at home that you maybe previously wouldn't have had?
I was a bit worried at the start about COVID, my mum, because obviously how vulnerable she is. I moved out for 6 months during last lockdown. I moved in with my friend, so I didn't really see her as much, but I seen her as much as I could. But I was always kind of, because obviously I shouldn't have been, but I was still mixing with my friends. But so I was kind of always in the back of my mind, scared to kind of maybe give my COVID or anything.
Sure. That's still really unselfish though. Like that's I think if the COVID police are coming to get you, then I think the good of being unselfish and moving out beats the fact that you were seeing your friends, as most people were doing. I don't think you can really come down on yourself for that. Anyway, Ross, to round off this section, how would you summarise the impact of Alzheimer's disease on you and your family? This is really aimed at anyone who isn't familiar with the disease.
It's heartbreaking, mate. Like, in a word, just heartbreaking. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, but there's no point in getting upset about stuff you can't really change. So you just need to kind of pull together and make it as easy for her as possible. Know what I mean?
100%. Where did the idea for the fundraising come?
It was just a kind of with Alzheimer's. It's kind of you can't help but feel so helpless constantly because there's no a lot you can really do to help, and apart from kind of look after her, there's nothing you can do that will change it. So it's just kind of gives me a wee bit of something back that I'm giving something back to a charity and organisation that does so much for people like my mum. So that's just kind of my way of trying to help.
So see, before you started doing the fundraising for yourself, had you been doing it like with other groups, like Alzheimer? I know you do the thing for Alzheimer Scotland, like off your back, but had you been doing that as part of other groups?
I started off with doing, and it's a event that Alzheimer Scotland organise every year. It's just the memory walk, it's called, but it's just walking around Kelvin Grove, and I think it's just people, all their families and that, walking around, just everybody raising money. But I kind of wanted to push the boat out a wee bit. That's how I started organising it myself.
And when you started to push out the boat, was that the first thing you did? Was that last year, like 2020?
Aye,
The Ben Nevis.
We done last year, mate.
No, I was going to say no messing about with the first one.
I know.
Whose clever idea was that? Like, there's no, just, I think you could have did anything, and it's just you've went all in.
I just wanted to kind of raise as much as we possibly could and challenge ourselves as much as we could, because the more you challenge yourself, the more people are going to.
You think if you set the bar high, then the people's desire to chip in is going to be to that standard as well?
Definitely.
Magic.
That's the way I look at it anyway, mate.
Magic. So, obviously, the people like me who haven't met you before, right? So I just get to see the end bit on Instagram. You've got the picture at the top, and the stories that you shared before. And I like how you say you're a pain in the arse, but it's the best pain in the arse that anybody can possibly be. So all people see is that, but what actually goes into it? So who helped you set it up? Talk to me about the logistics of actually.
I set it up myself, but I've got the best group of pals that a daft bastard like me could ask for. That with the fundraising and that, they're brilliant. They help me every year. We got just under 16 grand last year. We're sitting at 17 and a half the now. You know what I mean? It's probably the best I've seen anybody do. You know what I mean? With it blowing my own trumpets, but everybody does really bust their ass to help me, and I genuinely can't thank them all enough.
So, see, in terms of like arranging dates and times, so you've got friends. Obviously, your friends all come and go with you. So how do you arrange how do you sort a date and a time that suits everybody? That must be fairly complicated as well, because the fundraising is only one aspect. That's
kind of, we just made a chat. I wrote who wants to kind of take part. We made a chat and we just kind of knocked our heads together, and people came and go with each other, and just to sort when would be kind of best for everybody, and then we went for there.
How much would you say is done behind the scenes? So if you to like compared to what people see on Instagram, how much extra work goes on that people don't see?
A lot, mate. It's I've got to say stressful. It's just because I do football cards and all at a time, and it doesn't seem like as if it would be stressful, but even just posting stuff and that, it gets repetitive for you, but I don't know, it's worth it in the end, but it does get stressful at times.
Corson, how many people did you get to go to Ben Nevis with you?
I think it was just under 20 last year, mate.
That's solid. And how much did you raise again? What was the final number?
I think it was 15,900 last year.
Amazing, man. Did Ben Nevis last year. Unreal achievement. What are the plans for this year?
We're doing the West Highland Way this year and then completing Ben Nevis.
No messing about, Ross. So how many stops are you planning to do on the West Highland Way?
I think it's 4 or 5, mate.
And you were telling me, I guess not off camera, but off recording, that one of your friends has arranged it all. How come he has the expertise to to have set it all up for you?
He's got half a brain unlike the rest of us.
Has he done this before?
No, none of us have, mate.
Good. And when are you going?
Starting on the 29th of May.
And when are you scheduled to finish?
Hopefully, mate, we're planning to walk up Nevis on the 3rd of June.
All things being equal. And if you think, what's the most likely thing that's going to cause it not to go to plan?
The pubs, probably, mate.
I like the honesty. So, how many people have you got going at some point? Because I know you've got people that are going to come. I've seen a few things with people that are going to come and do the Ben Nevis climb at the end. So how many? What's your loyal band of followers at the start?
There's 14 years, mate. To begin with, there's loads of other people that wanted to do it as well, to be fair, but it's just kind of, I think at West Highland Way, you don't want millions of people doing it, because it would just end up...
It ends up just a jolly, instead of, you've actually got a... That's exactly, mate. That's exactly the way I'm thinking, mate. It's not really a jolly, because you've got a job to do. You're there to get to... that's the kind of way I'm looking at it as well, mate. At the end of the day, we can't really forget why we're doing it, because we are doing it for something that means one hell of a lot to me at the same time. But at the same time, you do want to go and enjoy it and have a laugh. And I'm really, really, really looking forward to it. So is everybody else. Amazing. And what is your donation? Have you got a donation target, or is it just a case of trying to beat last year? It was, mate, just to beat last year. And we've done it with, I think we've done it with 5 weeks to spare or something. We've still people donating just about every day, and still got loads of football cards still to do, a few other things to raffle. So it's just about seeing how far we can push it this year to try get another benchmark for next year. What sort of things do you have to raffle? We had pains me to say it, a signed Rangers top there. My pal Harry, he got rid of 100 numbers, £20 a number, 100 numbers in less than a day, which brought £2,000 to the page. So kudos to him for that. It was amazing what he done. Hopefully just a few other kind of football related stuff, and then just football cards. Football cards give people a chance of winning something as well, know what I mean? True, yeah, true. Like money. And what I wanted to ask as well was, the fundraising that you do you speak to your mum about it? I wish I could, mate. But I wish more than anything she knew what was going on. That's kind of the downfall. I wish would know what I'm doing for her. Anything. Really, she can't really walk, talk, eat, do anything for herself. It's heartbreaking to see, but I do wish hopefully she does know what I'm doing for her. That's absolutely heartbreaking, Ross. But see, to try and put a positive spin on it, by you saying that, it 100% confirms your unselfishness and that there's zero virtue signalling. You aren't in it for a pat on the back from anyone, not even your mum. It's just all for the cause. Your mentality's amazing. You put your memory of her and your desire to do the fundraising above your desire for her to know that you're doing it. So that unselfishness, that has to carry the day. So well done to you and to all your friends. I appreciate that, mate. Then to round off, we'll ask about I'll get you to plug your social media and the Just Giving and that at the end. So see, for just now, a bit about you. So what do you do for work? So to get a bit. I'm a salesman, mate. I work for a company called CEF in Glasgow. I sell kind of electrical stuff and all other things to anybody just about that needs them. And what kept you going through the pandemic? Just my pals, really. Just I've actually, a kind of unpopular opinion, I've really, really enjoyed like the lockdowns and stuff like that. I've met loads of new people, had some of the best nights in my life. I've really enjoyed it. I'm really looking forward to a bit of normality, but I'm kind of glad all this stuff's kind of, no COVID, but I'm glad
the lockdown when that's happened, because I have really enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed. See, the first lockdown last year. I think I'd never even like that as well. So when we had the time off, and I don't think I'd cycled a bike honestly since I was 12 or 13. I found myself most days.
I think everybody went and bought a bike, didn't they?
I think in the 10 years before last summer, so 2020, so say the full decade, 2010 to 2019, I think I honestly cycled 5 times, right? And then I think I must have cycled.
I'm the same.
I must have cycled about 150 miles last summer. And
just went and bought a bike and started walking up hills.
I was I claim myself as I was into the hill walking before that was cool. I think, but I like the fact that hill walking's become. I like the fact that that's become a norm, because it's good, because people like mental health and stuff as well, that the pandemic has had an effect on.
Definitely.
There's nothing like it.
No, I agree with you on that one, mate.
And then as the restrictions start to ease, or as they are easing just now, what are you enjoying most about going back to normal?
I don't know, mate. I've just done. I kind of grasped myself, and I've always just seen my pals and had a good time with them, regardless. That's just me. I've not really let it get in the way. Well, the lockdowns and that get in the way. Obviously, trying to have a good time now. But I've tried my best. True.
We'll just make sure if the COVID police are listening, then this is all a lie. Don't worry. So you've you did the Ben Nevis last year. You've got the West Highland Way plus Ben Nevis this year. Where is left for you to go? Like, what can you possibly do next year?
Oh, mate, we've been thinking about it. Like, I've said that to my pals. I wish we'd just done the West Highland Way this year and then combined them next year. But last year we thought the same. No, I mean, we didn't think we would. We were thinking what do we do next and how we're going to beat last year, but somehow we've managed to beat it. So I don't doubt it.
You're going to end up being a victim of your own success. That you set the bar so high that you're
definitely. Mate. But the bigger it's getting, the more the more people that know about it, the bigger it's getting. The better we're doing, the better it's going to keep doing. I mean, it's got a kind of snowball effect with it, and it's brilliant to be a part of it.
Yeah, I would agree with that, because, as I say, I've never met you before, but I knew of the fundraising last year, and then when it come round again, although if somebody said to me Ross McNamee, I'd be able to tell you straight away, Alzheimer Scotland fundraising, purple t-shirts, that type of thing, just by, as you say, the snowball effect, that it becomes the fundraising, the things that you do gets a reputation, and that people will then follow.
As I say, there's times that I've been went on Instagram and I'm clicking on stories and I'm sick of the sight. I don't think I would ever say this. I'm sick of the sight of my own face. You know what I mean?
But I like that you're honest with that, because even on your big post, like share the tits at this. Like, I know I'm going to be asking for money every 2 days. Good for you, man. That's the, like, if you're going to be a pain in the arse, be a pain in the arse for something that's worthwhile. And
yeah, definitely, mate.
This is it. So, where can people find you and find the link to donate?
Just on my Instagram, it's in my bio. I share it just about every week on Facebook and Twitter as well. But even if you go on Just Giving and type in, I think it's West Highland Way for Angie, I think you can find it there as well. But most people just get it through the link in my bio, or if that doesn't work, then just give me a wee message and I'll send you directly. What is your Instagram handle? Just at Ross McNamee. No spaces, all lowercase. Perfect. And anybody listening as well, I will put the bio and the episode link, so if you're on listening to it wherever, Apple or Spotify, you just click on it and it'll take you straight there. But that's me at the end of my list of questions. Have you anything you want to ask me, or are you all good? No, I'm all good, my man. I really appreciate you having me on and try to help me out. No, I appreciate you giving me the time. I've been looking forward to this for a wee while. As soon as I said to, I give a wee special mention to Denny, who was the middleman, getting this
Thanks to him. But no, thank you for your time. Really appreciate it.
No, likewise.
And there you have it. A huge thank you to Ross for his time. He's an outstanding and selfless man who is a credit to himself, Alzheimer Scotland, his friends, but most importantly to his mum Angie. As he was saying, he can be found on both Twitter and Instagram at Ross McNamee. Please get involved with the donations for the fundraiser, which begins at the end of this week. If you have any spare cash at all, the link is in the show notes, as well as being one of the options in the link attached to the Lost for Words bio. This weekend should be payday weekend, so chip in. Even if you're tuning into this after Ross has completed the trek, it isn't too late, so please donate. The usual bits and pieces to finish off. Please support the podcast by leaving a 5-star review on Apple or by hitting the subscribe button wherever you get your podcasts. It does help massively with the visibility. You can also follow on social media. The handle on both Twitter and Instagram is at LostForWordsPod. That's a wrap for this week's episode with Ross McNamee. I have been your host Jason, and I will see you next week for episode 11 of Lost for Words.